How accurate was MrBeast's prison to real life prison?
So physically, it was very realistic. Like the guy had the actual prison toilet hooked up. Even in my studio, we didn't have a hooked up toilet. Like he had the real deal. He had the real prison shower, prison bunks. He had the actual like 500-pound metal table like drilled in to the concrete. So realistic. I think mentally it was different because like in real prison, you're not going 30 days without a book. That's why me and him would always bicker like on every check-in day about how this is a fake prison. This isn't a real prison because there's more to do in an actual real prison. But again, this is a challenge and I understood his standpoint. But from a physical part, he made it very real. And they based it off of like their art team based it off of prison movies, prison shows. It was really cool. Even the doors, the tray slots, like they spared no expense to make this super legitimate.
How accurately did they depict the drama that was going on between you and the cop?
So the drama wasn't real. All the drama pieces, not that it was scripted, he doesn't script anything, we scripted it ourselves. So the drama that you see in the video was real, but me and Lenny were doing it as a joke to punk him.
So Jimmy didn't ask you guys, hey, like make this into a bigger deal, but you were like, hey, I'm bored in this pseudo prison, may as well make some drama.
So the first fake drama we had was on day 30, and we really wanted them to put it in because MrBeast's reaction was priceless. We devised this plan with the books, as you guys saw in the video, and I passed Lenny a note, and I said, hey, let me take the books and I'll smuggle them out. We make the deal, go along with it, and Jimmy was filming another video and came back a couple hours later, like you guys see in the video. Lenny winks at me while I'm sitting on the bed, and that's when he says, I want the Bible. Why do you think you could get the books? We're arguing back and forth for like 3 hours, like a real fight, like the tensions in the room. They called the casting department and the team, the creative team, saying, hey, I think one of them is going home. Like it was real. Jimmy walks in and I say to him, I'm like, hey, I can't stand next to him. Like I'm ready to go home if I don't get the library. Like the tension was there all the way to the last second where he's like, well, who's getting the books? And I say me after a long pause. That was all real, not edited. And Jimmy like lets out a huge sigh of relief. Because he thought it was real and we punked him over it. But that was like the first scripted drama on our part. No one ever told us to say anything. What they will say to do is just whatever you guys talk about, keep talking about it. Like I said, I talked about wanting a haircut like every day because they need a way to introduce it into the video. But they'll never say stir up drama or do this or do that. It's all real.
Wouldn't they know, though, if you're devising a plan because it's all recorded? Like how much of this can they not get on camera? Like I'd imagine passing a note, there's someone watching you pass a note.
They saw us pass a note, but they didn't. I wrote it in the bathroom. There was no notes, like no cameras in the bathroom or showers or in the back. So they didn't see what I wrote. And they didn't know what the plan was. And then he winked at me and they didn't see it or whatever. That you ask anyone on their team, they would have thought one of us is going home on day 30. And also by that point, I was complaining heavily because I wanted to quit like probably 10 or 15 times in the first 10 days.
Why?
So for me, I went to real prison and that prison experience gave me a good break from all the disaster that was going on in my world. All the stress, everything. I was overweight. I was miserable. I was in a massive amount of debt, failed businesses. All my friends abandoned me. It was a really bad spot. So those 3 years in real prison was a great break and a reset, and I got to plan what I was going to do in the future. I get out, I rebuild my life, I work at Whole Foods, and then I'm able to create a successful business and have a really good life. Then you go leave that all on the line, and you go into this environment where you have no phone, you have no internet, no family, no friends, no communication. You give up your life, and you don't know how your baby's doing on the outside, and the baby being my podcast and what I was able to build, literally trusting someone else with that. And I always compare it to, would Jimmy be able to go off the map for 100 days and not know his analytics? I mean, how many times do you guys look at your analytics in a day and respond to comments? Like I was doing all of that. I was a one-man team before my friend came into the picture. I was doing all the posts, all the editing, everything. So I was literally trusting my whole life. And this is a great topic to talk about later too, is that I would never have risked my whole platform for a MrBeast video because you can't depend on just that money or just that exposure to blow you up. And I think that's where a lot of contestants might go wrong after a MrBeast video if they don't have their own lane or their own content. So I had all those things in mind. So for me, I was miserable being away from all that. I'm a worker by trait and like to be physically hands-on. So to be in an environment where you have nothing going on, because you can only talk to someone. I mean, we talked probably the first 4 days or whatever about our whole lives. But after that, how much is there really to get to know each other on that level? So we did things like we made a chessboard, engraved it into the table, and we used like vitamins and gummies and stuff that we had as pieces. And then we made like the basketball hoop and a pull-up bar with my bed. But that's all we had to do. And we lived through like getting the 3 meals a day and going to the rec yard once a day and splitting up the time that way. But a lot of it was nothing, you know? It was just sitting there. So to me, that was the hardest part.
So there was no drama between you and the cop whatsoever, in actuality. Like, all of the drama was just you and him plotting to make things fun, to make things entertaining. Was there ever a part where you guys were feuding a little bit?
So the snoring was definitely like the first real drama. I guess you could call it real drama.
That could be annoying.
Yeah, it was more me solo drama because it was at night. He was asleep. He was a heavy sleeper at night. I went to bed early and I was up like all night listening to these snores, and I'm like flipping out on the camera in the middle of the night. Like, I was pissed about that because I wanted to sleep. So there was that. And then at day 50, I was pissed, not necessarily at him, but I was just angry that I was thrown in solitary during the visit.
So that was real.
That was all real. Yeah. So this is when I really realized how legit MrBeast is, and anyone could say whatever they want about him, but this, like, I think solidifies it. When that happened on day 50, where only one of us could pick the visit, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, this is going to happen. They'll focus on Lenny, and then they're going to let me say hi to my family or something. They flew them out there all the way from Connecticut. Like, I'll have time with them to see them. And he got his edit for the video. Everything's good. They put me in solitary. I'm thinking, okay, they're going to open the door any second. They got the shots. Everything's good. None of that happens. I'm literally in solitary for like 5 hours waiting. They put my family back in a car and sent them all the way back to Connecticut. I didn't talk to them.
How did your family feel about that?
My dad's pissed to this day. So something that didn't make the video was that on day 80, because every check-in, I would say, Jimmy, this is a real prison. Where's my phone call? And we would go back and forth, and he would always string me along. And on day 80, he finally gave me a FaceTime, like right before that rock challenge. So that was the first time I got to talk to my family. We were able to send letters because we bought that on commissary, but we couldn't receive letters back. So they had a whole stack of letters for us when we got out. But on day 80, I FaceTime my dad for like 5 minutes when Lenny was deciding on the rock. And that was the first time I got to talk to him. My dad like is yelling at MrBeast like in the background, I'm still mad at you. Cause my dad he's almost 80. He doesn't really understand how this all works, that it's content, But I had told them before I left, listen, I'm not paying for you guys. Like, if there's a visit and they offer money, I'm not doing it. I want to keep the money, to see you guys. Cause I saw in other videos you could pay for a visit. But that's what essentially happened. I realized how real it is. Nothing's scripted or you're being recorded 24/7.
So those were the only things that you really feuded about, was the solitary confinement and then the snoring.
Yeah, we fought about the rock though too. So Lenny made that decision on his own because I was so happy about the phone call and focused on that. I left it to Lenny to make the decision on the rock. He inspected the rock. He's like, bro, we got this. This is easy. That first hour, we're just swinging it because we didn't have the proper tool yet. We didn't have the chisel yet. We ended up finding what we needed in the book, and then they gave us a chisel because they knew that you needed the chisel for it. But I was pissed at him. I was getting beat up like splinters and blisters, and we were both getting hurt, and the rock was not budging.
So explain the offering that they made to you with the rock.
Okay, so with the rock on day 80, they came in and they said, hey, do you guys want to make money? This is the first challenge in 80 days where we have the opportunity to make money. They say, if you want to do this challenge, they don't tell us what it is yet. You have to pay 50 grand to enter. So we pay the 50 grand, we go outside and we see the rock. We heard noises outside all day, like them moving everything around, but we didn't know what it was. We see the rock, they took our 50 grand. Then he explains that if you break the rock and get the key, you'll get your 50 grand back plus another 50 grand. So 100 grand total. And so Lenny decides to do that, take the rock deal. And I was going to support him. And I thought we would be able to do it. But I didn't realize how hard it was going to be. That rock was hard. It was a granite rock that they literally drilled it at the top, put a cement block in it with a key, and then flipped it over. So that's at the bottom. That's why you see in the video, we're trying to pry it with the chest press to flip it over to get to it. And it wasn't working.
How did there just happen to be a book that you found in the library?
So I think that it might have been planted, like they had that plan from day one, because they have all the challenges planned. Like they know what their plan is. But also there was a lot of random books in there. Like they did a really good job. That was like a real prison library. They had every book you can possibly imagine in that library.
It didn't look like they had that many books.
There's a lot of books.
And so there just happened to be a book about like rocks and how they work and how you can open them.
How did you find that?
It was a
book?
masonry book. And so by that point, by day 80, I knew every book in that library because I was going in there for an hour a day. I was tearing books out. I was ripping them apart. I was skimming through it. And I was reading a book a day too. I was literally reading a book a day. I read the whole Lord of the Rings series.
Wait, how are you reading a book a day if you only had an hour?
I smuggled them out. Remember in the video?
Yeah.
Yeah, I started smuggling the books out on day 1. Actually, the first night we got the challenge, when Jimmy turned around, I was able to get the Bible out for Lenny.